Dota 2, there we go! Here we go! We're live! It's Big God versus GoDz Esports! Oh, I couldn't unmute my mic for a second. We have finally got a Dota 2 game here. Whew! It took us a while. Dota 2 issues, connection issues. There was a contest in the Twitch chat between do we ride or do we do, and I'm pretty sure Sandstorm came out on top. In your face, Admiral Bulldog. Well, now it's time for Dota 2. Hopefully the riots have ended and we've got ourselves a good game of Dota 2 ahead of ourselves. It's going to be Big God. Currently, I think 5-5, taking on GoDz Esports, who, well, after this long break, I've completely forgotten where we are and where we're at. But GoDz going to be on the Radiant side. The Malaysian squad taking on the Chinese old men, the veterans, the casual gamers as they stand right now. It is going to be game one of a best-of-2 series. Big God, Xiaowei in the drafting seat. First pick going to be GoDz. Straight pick Naga Siren. We waited an hour and a half for a Naga Siren game. That's what I'm talking about. That's some karma for something. I don't know what I've done to deserve this, but please, after this, something good has to come my way. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking like a couple cute Asian girls just happen to be in my bedroom waiting for me when I'm done with my cast. Like, I go up, finish casting, finish my VODs, and just there they are, waiting in bed for me. I'm hope. A man can dream. But that's later on. I don't want to spoil the rest of my night. Right now, GoDz versus Big God. Going to be seeing a Naga versus Medusa game. Straight into the Medusa pick. That seems to be Big God saying, you guys want to go late game with the Naga Siren? We can go late game with the Medusa. Why not? And, well, looking to see what else, let's say looking forward to this game. Looking forward to see what else these two teams are going to be picking up as the Nyx gets banned out, one of those heroes which is pesky and annoying to deal with for the Medusa, and also a Brood ban, a great kind of space grading hero, something which can fit in with that kind of Naga Siren who needs the time to get the Radiance and complete. You send the Brood to the offlane, force 2 to 3 heroes to commit their time, buying a lot of sentries on the supports, and the supports fall behind, and then when Naga does get your Radiance, those supports become kind of food for you. So we'll see how things progress here. It is Big God with the first couple of picks coming out of the second ban stage, and over on the GoDz side, ban on the Alchemist and Tidehunter, and we'll see what they're going to be doing as far as those two bans are concerned. The Alchemist is especially peculiar. The Tide makes total sense, great team fighter and just general strong hero, but the Alchemist ban. Now on the dire side, the Acid could potentially be used as something to help bring down Roshan, but this hero they just picked is much better at that. Vengeful Spirit, Wave of Terror, you've got the Vengeance Aura. All in all, just the more well-rounded support hero, I feel. I'm not sure what the Alchemist ban is about, but it's great for defending high ground. If you're worried about getting to the stage where Medusa can get the necessary farm, then Alchemist is kind of better for turtling on the high ground. So we'll see. It's going to be GoDz now, responding to a Venge Line Medusa. Not really a good Roshan lamp, despite there being the Vengeful Spirit pick. And that's where maybe Big God... Generally with Medusa, we do see 2 to 3 core heroes picked up together. So maybe see something else as far as damage output goes with the Vengeful Spirit. With Xiaowei, we've seen him play heroes like Shadow Fiend throughout the tournament. The Medusa probably going to be Burning's hero. And we'll see what exactly comes to mind here. For GoDz, though, 2 more picks for them. What's it going to be? They need to string together some wins if they want to get into that top 6, make it to China. Top 4 straight into the main event. 5th and 6th place of the Asia qualifiers get into the wildcard match. They'll be fighting it out with 3rd and 4th place, or 2nd and 3rd place, sorry, from Europe, as well as the 2 Chinese kind of amateur teams who made it through the open qualifier, I believe it was. So, as things stand, GoDz, they're 2 and 4. Big God are 5-5, and that 50-50 record probably won't cut it for being top 6. You got to do better than that. GoDz going to look to defend and get to that Naga Radiance by going for a Darkseer pick. I feel like they should be pretty safe in getting to the Radiance for Naga Siren because of the enemy going for Medusa, but the scare is going to come if Big God try to be a bit more kind of mid-game aggressive with Medusa. We see kind of like, it's like IG and Newbie when they sometimes run this Medusa. They'll get like a 20 to 22 minute Skadi and then just go push. They'll go fight with it. They will look to use it in a very like 5-man death ball type way. And Medusa in the front lines with Skadi, max mana shield, doesn't really die. Doesn't do a ton of damage at that stage, but definitely offers a lot of survivability and just a good front line kind of sieger for all your outer towers, and even to some extent the high ground. Batrider now gets picked up, so there's your ROTK special. This guy is the Batrider king. As far as Batrider players go, one of his best heroes and one of the top Batrider players out there. But it's going to be a Sand King for GoDz, so they've got their support duo, the Sand King Skywrath Mage, and wanting to make sure they have heroes that can at least fight early on should Big God try and get aggressive and kill the Naga Siren pre-Radiance timing. So we'll see exactly what's going to be happening, and it's going to be one more pick Big God's way. Probably look at this point. You look at damage output. Sure, you've got a Medusa, but Medusa doesn't strike me as one of those heroes that actually deals a ton of damage on her own until you get really farmed. And generally, Medusa is like Skadi, Manta, Lincoln. Lincoln's even less so, but the Skadi Manta build doesn't actually do a lot of right-click damage. It's not like you're amplifying that much physical damage just yet from the Stone Gaze. You Stone Gaze people, it's like, well, Medusa can do a few right-clicks here and there, but you need something more on top of that. So we'll see what this last pick's going to be, but something tells me it's going to be some kind of extra source of damage here. The Shadow Fiend, something Morphling even possible. That'd be really greedy with Medusa, but I could see it working. The Faceless Void type hero would be nice, although Void is banned out. Not sure, Wraith King type heroes, something which is like a secondary semi-carry. Very rarely do we see these teams go for a one-carry lineup, and when they do, it's normally like an anti-mage type hero. I feel like Medusa, not enough on its own. So the Troll Warlord gets banned. That'd be a nice little fit there. As far as a lot of physical damage goes, works nicely with the Venge. I think they also want something that can take Roshan. But no, it's going to be a Pugna. Big God wasted no time at all going for this one. It's good damage output for sieging. They want to push. They want to actually take down towers this time. This is going to be a kind of a new... This is like the new age push strat. This is the... Let's use this Medusa to just never die. Alright. Well, we'll figure out what GoDz will have in response to this one. Their high ground defense is okay at the moment. Darkseer kind of hard to push into, as the threat of the vacuum wall is definitely not fun. But if you just have the Medusa in the front lines and Pugna walking up to blast every now and then, the other three heroes stay far away. Not like you're making illusions of scary heroes. Medusa the illusion doesn't have the mana shield, so definitely something to worry about. Razor going to be the last pick, as that's going to be GoDz. Some wave clear, good kind of early game fighting hero, good laning hero as well. They want to make sure the lanes don't go too terribly wrong for them. As we'll see exactly how things kind of lane from here on out, as it's going to be the Ling Sand King. Dave picking up the Skywrath Mage. This is it, game one. Whew, I gotta get back to my rhythm. My T's still sitting on the counter. Oh no! Forgot my tea, boys. We lost. Don't worry, I'll grab it after this game. I'm hoping for an action-packed Naga versus Medusa game such that I wouldn't even have time to sip at my tea anyways while this game's going on. This game is going to end in 25 minutes with 60, 70 kills. I can feel it now. That's what Naga and Medusa do, right? This is my first time casting these heroes, so I think that's what someone told me. Well, Big God, the team full of... Well, this is... You know, you look at this team and you just got to think. Stacked roster. Zhao 8, Burning, ROTK, the two captains from the TI4 Grand Finals, add Burning, add Lamb, the two of the DK players from the TI4 kind of dream team. And then Ice, who's... I mean, he's the kind of fluff on the side. Not to take anything away from Ice. He's proven that he's a very capable support player, but just not really a known player by any means. As, well, we waited an hour and a half for this game. We can wait a little bit longer, as we will have a pause from Johnny to start things off here. It looks like the GoDz side having some issues, unfortunately. We can run through our lineups, and the two teams going to be mobilizing here in the early game. It is going to be on the Radiant side, GoDz, the Malaysian squad with WTF, or WTF, Dabe, or L, as he was previously known. Going to be on the Skywrath Mage as a support, Johnny, the former Mineski captain, who's out of Mineski and back in Malaysia, going to be playing the Razor for this team. KYXY on the Sand King. Are they going to swap this around? What is the plan here? Ling is on the Naga Siren. Are we in for a farming Sand King and support Naga? Is that what we get? Are we seeing a support Naga Siren? Oh my gosh! Hallelujah! I actually don't mind seeing as much as I'm shit as I'm giving this this carry Naga Siren. It's a strategically interesting hero just because of what it does. It's very unique. Not many other heroes that can kind of do what it does in the game, I feel. Like the old kind of Nature's Prophet, it's somewhat reminiscent of that like Bulldog style Nature's Prophet where you split push and if played well, you never really die. Like especially that Blink Dagger Nature's Prophet where your hero is never really caught out. The Naga kind of does a similar thing where you can creep skip waves, not get caught out, very safely do so. But it will be WWK on the Darks here, so we'll see a support Naga Siren. Sand King going to be going mid, it looks like. Gets swapped over to Johnny. And KYXY going to be on the Razor. So on the Dire side, it is going to be ROTK on his signature Batrider. We'll see Burning going mid on the Medusa. In the top lane, Jowate on the Pugna. Lamb going to be playing the Lion. And Ice on the Vengeful Spirit. For the big god side, they're going to be tri-laning this Darkseer and looking to keep him from doing too much in this lane. Initially, they'll look to zone him out, try to prevent him from getting XP and farm, and then after that, they'll look to bring down the tower. Maybe with a double pull, maybe around the time the Siege Creeps comes out. But for now, the battle for Bounty Rune Supremacy begins. Top rune looks like it'll be going the way of the big gods. Bottom rune looks like it should be GoDz who have control there. Nothing WWK can do about this one except, well, scout out exactly who's going to be at top lane. So he now knows more or less what he's up against. The two supports up here, Boots, scouted on the Lion, Vengeful Spirit with no smoke, so initially no smoke spotted. But right off the bat, Lamb with the Bounty Rune going to buy a smoke and bring it out to himself. So we'll have that potential gank towards the mid lane onto the Razor. As far as bottom lane goes, Dire side, it's a sentry ward here. They've been chopping down a lot of these trees just in case they need to de-ward here, because sometimes it's the very pesky block spot you can do here. Which causes you problems as far as dewarding goes. So this sentry from Ling, we'll see if he can get in range for this spot here. And we'll see exactly where he looks to place it to deward the pull. Bottom lane, ROTK, not going to have too much fun. And imagine a similar story for the Darkseer, who didn't actually Iron Shell the creep wave. I was hoping it was maybe going to push out a bit, and does have the Iron Shell. But if he Iron Shells, it pushes out the wave a lot, and he may get some money, but more likely than not, he just ends up pushing out the wave, getting maybe 1 or 2 CS, and not even getting XP for it if he's getting fully zoned out. For now, he's trying to get those body blocks going, but this lane is actually going to push towards him. Double range creep on the Dire side. He will Iron Shell things up now. But Jowate so far on point with those denies around the Iron Shell. So Darkseer unable to get level 2. I don't think he wanted to Iron Shell there. This is kind of what I'm talking about using that Iron Shell. He just pushed the wave. There was a double range creep. It was going to push to him. Okay, there's the pull that was about to happen, but he would have at least gotten 2 or 3 creeps worth of XP. He puts the Iron Shell on himself so he can at least bully out the Vengeful Spirit, but currently sitting on very low experience in the top lane. Needs that level 2 surge before he can safely try and contest the lane a bit better. Mid lane will be Razor versus Medusa. Medusa's going to be looking to bring up probably Boots ASAP. Normally you want to rest the bottle, but considering the matchup against the Razor and the static link being what it is, this may be a matchup where we see something else come into play. Uh-oh, WWK has not got surge. First blood. Pugna says hello. Lion hitting level 2, I think from the pull camp. Gives him the Hex as well as the Impale, and now we'll see the 2-minute rune come up. It looks like Lion's going to head to the top rune for that one. Bottom rune, well, Batrider not going to be able to contest it because he gets taken down on the other side of the map. It's 1 kill apiece. Unfortunately for GoDz, First Blood did go the way of the big gods in the top lane as well, and on Jowate. So he's going to have fast Arcane Boots potentially for the team, and probably see something like an Arcane's mech build type from him. As that Invis rune going to be headed mid, and KYXY did not spot this out. There's a Hex and an Impale. Burning just needs to hit this Mystic Snake off of some creeps here. He's going to look to salve up. He cancels the salve. Can they go for the kill as well? Impale is there, but no. Just a salve cancel. I like that move. If he gets full HP from the salve, you're not killing him. So you may as well cancel the salve and give him a rough time in this mid lane. Once he started salving, the kill kind of disappeared. But no, just keep things very tough for KYXY mid, who's still 100 gold away from his bottle. May even look to just start using that. Yeah, Plasma Field needs the CS. We'll get the CS ×1 ×2. There's his bottle. So that's the good news for KYXY. For Burning, he's gone for the boots to deal with the static link, and he's going to have a slightly slower bottle himself, but support's now making their way towards this mid lane. Razor has no points in the unstable concurrent, so won't be able to slow down these supports using that passive, and they do need the lane to push out a little bit, which currently doesn't really seem to be doing. Maybe when he goes for this range creep. Gets his bottle out. They need a game before he starts bottling up. He's going to now go back to the trees. The Hex is there. He didn't bottle, though. Had an opportunity to do so before they came in and did damage, and the Vengeful Spirit gets the last right click. He buys his bottle, gets ganked, though, and I don't think KYXY was ready for that one, because he definitely could have bottled up a little bit, and it looked like he maybe even could have got out of there. I guess the boots on the Lion were there, so Lion was always going to break the distance with the boots' advantage over the Razor, but didn't use any bottle charges before the damage came in. Could have used those while he was running, and we'll see the second kill being claimed by Big God as the support's going to now swing back top lane. Lion somewhat mana depleted, and with the supports going mid does give WWK's Darkseer at least some opportunity to get some farm, some CS at top, and he's up to 8 CS and getting close to that level 4 now. There we go, hits level 4, but out of mana, out of HP. Looks like he's going to surge back to base, and problem is with that, well, this Basseering Pugner going to be looking to push things out here. Just needs to aura on if he wants to go for the push, suggesting maybe he doesn't want to push it out right now. He's going to leave that aura off. It does seem to just be more intent on controlling the lane for the time being. Wait for the siege creep to come out, maybe get a double creep wave mid lane, the counter gank burning. Finds a Skywrath Mage coming his way, one more Arcane Bolt should be enough. KYXY though, stunned under his tower, he's going to look to return. Well, the right clicks on the Ice. Well, what am I talking about? Ice. But instead, it's going to be a dead Vengeful, dead Razor for the Medusa. TP in, that's a lot of XP. Suddenly, Ice is level 5 after this creep wave. Support Venge, 5 minutes in, level 5 from a solo kill. That is one of those times where it's like, well, you don't really want that solo, you don't really want your Medusa to die, but having a level 5 Venge suddenly is actually kind of crazy. That's his second kill. He's got an assist from the top lane as well, and he's a ridiculously farm Vengeful Spirit. RTK at bottom, 0-1 with the 4 CS, maybe looking to fall back to his jungle soon. Very unusual to see this Sand King played as a safe lane farmer. Seen it run as like a core before, but normally it's like more likely to be either a mid solo or an off lane solo, but he's being laned in the safe lane with supports. Ling on the support Naga Siren. Very interesting choice. Top lane now, the next place where Big God want to make their mark known. They're going to look to push it out. They've got the Bassi aura on now. They look to spam this one. WWK Iron Shells himself, and that just means if he dies, well, this ain't good. Impale going to miss. He goes into the trees. Wanted the Courier as well, and as a result, missed a lot of these spells. They need the stun. They're not going to... Oh, get the Hex. Just barely. Get him before the TP goes off. Ice a bit stuck. Zhao 8 may need to help out his buddy. He's like, I want to blast this tower. He's just going to be stuck there. Finally gets set free, and then the Arcane Boot's going to keep everyone nice and healthy. Top rune going to be going the way of KYXY, it looks like. ROTK won't be able to get done. Oh, what? KYXY? What was that? Maybe the Perfect World lag isn't over, as KYXY now in trouble. Going to get ganked out. Did not pick up the rune. Must have misclicked or suffered from a case of the old lag spikes there. As Medusa will pick up some Phase Boots now. The Phase Boots Medusa, I really like it. A lot of Medusas go for the treads, but because of the way, I feel like getting in position to guarantee a Stone Gaze hit is a lot easier with the Phase Boots. When you Stone Gaze, you can use the Phase Boots to walk through enemy heroes and try and get that Stone Gaze to proc on them. Obviously, it does require you to be really close to your opponents, but Medusa generally in the front lines anyways. So game 1, it is an early game, Big God lead. RTK going to now fall back to the jungle, start his stacks, and level 5 should be able to jungle pretty efficiently here. And tier 1 top tower taken, so from Zhao 8's point of view, it's like, well, I don't really think we can get this tier 2 tower anytime soon, so maybe just keep this lane pulled back such that Darkseer can't get too much of the lane. It's going to push him back to the jungle, and he's not going to be able to find all too much. It means also that the jungle is not going the way of... Well, I guess the Razor isn't too worried about the jungle. Sand King as well has a lane to himself. His Blink Dagger is about to be completed, so it's an 8-minute blink. This is reminiscent of like the safe lane Sentinels, where you guarantee a fast blink. It does feel like, I feel like this should just be a Centaur though, looking at this, because like a Centaur, you hit level 7, you get your Blink Dagger at this time, you offer a lot more damage output. Like, with an Epicenter, Sand King can match the Centaur damage output, but that's with an Epicenter, which has a long cooldown. Compare that to the Double Edge, which is very spammable. G-Guard going to get 1 kill at mid lane with a smoke, but that's a lot of heroes just for a support Lion with that smoke. Burning now, going to walk into the Sand King, and may have... Yeah, they scout out the Sand King Blink Dagger. They know this is up now. That Observer Ward's seeing him, and And this will not catch anyone by surprise. Sanking just gonna play that oh so familiar tune here at the bottom lane, and actually gets cut off. He gets booed off stage, and he's gonna just right-click the creeps, farm the old-fashioned way. As for GoDz, well, the early game hasn't been too kind to them. It's a 3,000 net worth lead going the way of Big God. Not as bad on the experience front, but the gold is just going to get worse and worse. It's been a lot of group up for Big God, which is where the experience isn't too bad because they've been trying to take towers, and they're going to look to do that so more. Burning now rotating up top, saying we can just kind of 5-man. Medusa, just like a level 8 Medusa with max Mystic Snake and 2 points in Mana Shield. Very tanky and hard to deal with. The mech almost complete as well for the Pugna. Looks like the rest of the pieces are coming out. Needs a branch. I think he shot a branch. Yeah, the branch is a base. So he tried to bring out the mech, and he's like, wait, why isn't this working? I've got my mech recipe, I've got my chainmail. Oh wait, I'm short a branch. I wonder if he like sold it. I mean, he maybe had it when he bought the mech and then sold the branch for like an item slot, like a TP, but yeah, a bit of a mishap from Jiawei. Tier 2 tower now getting constantly chipped away at the Iron Shell Sanking. This is going to be where the damage output comes from GoDz. They're looking to chase here, but how much damage can they do? A support Vengeful Spirit looks like what they're going to get, and that's just the one kill going their way. Darkseer's Iron Shell going to get the last hit for it, but look at the damage on this Tier 2 tower. Ling's now swung mid lane. He's trying to get his level 6 to try set things up with the Song of the Siren, Epicenter, Vacuum Wall. That's the combo. That's what GoDz are going for this game. Wombo combo. And if we don't see at least one or two of these wombo combos, well, I don't see GoDz getting back into this game once they start losing towers left, right, and center, which is likely to happen with this Pugna Medusa. We'll see where Burning goes. I wonder if he's even going to go more early game centric with his item build. Get something like a fast drums for the team. And really try and group up and push as much as possible. I guess the worry is then if for whatever reason you don't take enough towers, you don't really scale that well to the late game. So he may just go for the standard Skadi Rush. Get the point booster when he can, and oh, smoke towards top, Burning. He's not really wary of this one. Has got level 2 Mana Shield, but if they want to Epicenter and use a lot of spells, they will get this kill, depending on the TP's in. ROTK, bit short of his Blink Dagger, and he buys a TP, so he is available to go to the top lane. Firefly up soon, no Flame Break though. Jiawei himself, he's got a TP and mech. So if they go in and Burning and don't kill him fast enough, and Jiawei can TP in first, he could look to heal him up, mana him up, or mana boots on cooldown, but do a lot to keep him alive that little bit longer. And Burning, well, he sees pretty much everyone down here. They don't know he's up here as well. The thing is, GoDz are probably expecting most of the heroes to be in this bottom lane. They don't scout the trees above, and looks like Burning going to be safe for the time being. Tier 1 tower being chipped away at, but Big God showing they want to defend this one. They've already TP'd in the Batrider, and looking to TP in more to the Tier 2 tower. Blink in, Sanking will hit the Burrow Strike. RO2K needs to get out of the Mystic Flare, can't do so. And the top tower still being sieged. Burning going to give it up, it looks like. They realize that is not working. Once they lose the Batrider, they can't fight it. Batrider didn't have his Blink money, unfortunately. And what Big God are doing, which maybe should have been the plan initially, was just taking multiple Tier 1s on the map. They took bottom, they're now sieging mid lane. Instead of trying to defend top, they could have just done this as their initial go-to plan. So it's 2 towers for 1 if Big God get this Tier 1 mid. And TP from Skyreth is not going to be enough to prevent it going down, and it looks like Jiawei should be able to get this one. Oh my god. Oh, thought he had the deny. Medusa gets the last right click. Just barely, it looks like. We'll see some item pickups. The Arcane Boots for the Sanking, the Treads for the Razor. At this point, if you're GoDz, you need to get items to fight as early as possible, because this Pugna is really starting to deathball pretty hard and fast. Burning picks up his Ring of Aquila just for the early game cost efficiency of the item, and Jiawei, 1400 gold. Is he thinking drums with this gauntlet? He's going earn. We'll have to figure out in a second, but right now, seems he's just going to be holding on to some of that money. Picks up a Bracer and Ogre Club, so casual Bracer and then either the BKB or the Ag Scepter, and this feels like a very BKB important game. You got Sanking as your main source of damage. The Skyreth Mage dealing out a lot of damage. Naga's going to pick up an urn for the Radiant team, and for now, Big God, I don't think they want to get into... I mean, they can kind of get into a farm game with the late game Medusa, but Burning Medusa is still on top of the Radiant heroes on farm. And for the Radiant side, their late game is... what, a Razor? They've got nothing. If this was a Khorne Naga, I'd be like, yeah, you don't want to get into a late game fight necessarily against them if you're Big God, but you see this Radiant's 3 cores. They've got Darkseer and Sanking as your team fighters, and then a Razor as your kind of physical damage. I feel like they're going to need to transition Ling into a carry as early as possible, but for now they're giving the farm to Johnny on his Sanking, and Ling's still filling into that role as a support. Him and Dabe both getting a bit of farm here and there. But this Radiant team has no real way of taking Roshan, not a good lineup for pushing down towers. Not really sure what the general strategy is here. They're going to quad TP back. Taste the rainbow, they say, without TPs, and tier 2 already dead, as that was already really low from a previous push. Easy pickings for the Big God team, and they just fall back. They're going to TP Medusa bottom, prioritize Burning's farm a bit to, as mentioned, like they get to the late game, just make sure Burning is out farming some of these Radiant heroes, and the late game looks damn good for them. Pugner as well, not a bad hero to have in the late game against this heavy nuke damage lineup. If he can get himself nice and tanky with a BKB Ag Scepter, he can just outlast the magic damage. And Darkseer, well, you make an illusion of him, what's it going to accomplish? It's a Pugner. You're not getting any of his spells out of this. So as things stand right now, GoDz looking to make something happen with the smoke here. Burning at bottom lane, somewhat on his own. There is a Vengeful Spirit swap available, which may be the escape for Burning, who's going to walk into this gank to some extent. Ling is there. Vengeful Spirit will wave to scout this one out. The stun comes through here. Epicenter as well, not cancelled. Burning gets swapped, but then he walks back into it, and then walks back into the wall as well. 2 dead there. Lamb going to turn things around. Look for the finger on Ling. One more right click. He doesn't go for it. No kills coming Big God's way. The Razor, meanwhile, on the side, looking for the Batrider, who does have a Blink Lasso. Is he going to go in for this one? Does do so. Takes heavy damage. Also gets purged up. The sleep, though. Oh, they had the ROTK kill. They probably still do. Burrow Strike is going to be needed. It's on cooldown. Oh, may not be needed. One Arcane Ball is going to just finish off the job here. TP's back in. That's going to be the Ice Vengeful Spirit. He's respawned. KYX from the front lanes on the Razor, doing a lot of damage. Does die for this, but he gets a 4th kill for his team. Make it 5, actually. Everyone dying there. The Venge and Medusa have respawned, and Naga does end up going down. I think that was the earned damage from the Vengeful Spirit. So a 2 for 5 exchange, heavily favoring GoDz there, and that was just a bit of an awkward swap coming out from Ice. Right here, like the sideways swap. He needed to be like further up the lane behind him to swap him backwards, but Burning's like, yeah, don't swap me. He was trying to like run the other direction, then walked into the epicenter wall, which seemed like a bit of miscommunication coming from the Big God team there. 10 kills to 7. And Big God say immediately, well, your ultis are on cooldown. Let's fight. All 5 ultis. These dots, none of them full. 55, 115, 26, 16. And Skywrath only just now gets his ultimate back up. But Big God look at this like, well, we lost that fight, but let's make sure we get a tier 2 out of it. So sure, that was a 2 for 5 fight, but essentially it was a 2 for 5 plus a tier 2 tower on the side of Big God. So that does make up for it somewhat if they can get this tower, which feels like they should be able to. Epicenter, probably the big ultimate they really need. Darkseer's wall is back up, even if just a level 1 wall. There's some damage potential coming from this one, as KYX on the front line is going to go in, take out the Pugner Ward, and once that Pugner Ward's down, so much easier to get these kills. Ling going to get lassoed up, and the burst damage from the Pugner Blast is there. KYXY getting hit by the Stone Gaze, as is WWK. He can't combo his wall with a vacuum as a result of that Stone Gaze. Now the swap back. It looks like they want KYXY. Johnny going to be looking for a Burrow Strike in a second. He's got Epicenter in 5. He's holding on for now. Doesn't get the Burrow Strike he was looking for. Only catches out 1, but it's still a good fight so far for GoDz. They get Lion. They get Pugner as well. They're going to lose the Razor in the process. On the run is ROTK. WWK gets right-click down. ROTK! He's going to blink out! Epicenter, Burrow Strike. Burning gets not really low. He just chews through all his mana here. He's still alive and kicking. Johnny with the offensive earn on him is going to be okay. ROTK, Firefly up, has a creep on him. And he's going to find Johnny over on the side if he goes looking for him. But it looks like he just wants to get the hell out of there. No teamfight recap, it says. I click it, but it doesn't let me see it. But this time around, it's B God or Big Gods taking the advantage out of that one. They don't get the tier 2 tower, but GoDz do not get the fight they were looking for, it feels like. And, well, was starting to dip back in GoDz's favor, but that was going to see a slight dip downwards, I believe, after that little bout in the middle lane. Medallion now the purchase for Ice, and probably going to see them try accumulating Aegis. If they want to keep 5-manning and fighting as they're doing now, it does feel like having an Aegis on their side would be a good move. Not the most obvious Roshan lineup, but with the Medallion, with the Venge Wave, even just Pugner spamming Blast, keeping people healthy with a mech, they definitely can Roshan. It's just going to be a matter of making sure it's safe to Rosh. Again, Song of the Siren, potential epicenter in a minute, and just the scouting of the Plasma Field and Naga Illusions. That can happen. This Pugna definitely needing a BKB. There is still going to be the physical damage of the Razor. The lockdown the ensnare provides, but BKB does feel like the right choice of items here. Burning at bottom lane now. Going to look to push this out. Needs to do so fast because here comes a 5-man swing towards his lane. But he kills it just in time to back off, and it looks like he won't be caught out unless he goes into this Radiant jungle. That is definitely not the play to make right now. And bottom lane, they're going to smoke up behind Burning, so we'll see if GoDz still make this go on Burning. He is nice and tanky now. 1262 HP. With the ulti ult point booster, he's got a nice big extra boost onto his mana pool as well. He goes back, catches out Johnny. Can they bring him down in time? He may be the finger of death target. Nope, not needed. And with the Plague Ward here, or the Nether Ward here, sorry, this is not really a fight GoDz want to take. They could look to kill it off, but they're going full retreat. Blink forward, just some napalms coming out. There's no lasso, having just used it to kill the Sand King. The Song of the Siren also on cooldown now. Makes it a bit harder for GoDz to get that perfect wombo combo fight. WWK waiting on the side here. Position for that wall vacuum, but he's going to go in. He surges himself, looking to make the play happen. The wall vacuum is there, catches three. Immediately, Mech comes out, ice. He's kind of swapped himself into that one. WWK going to be going down. The Firefly back up, and KYXY is fighting into 3 or 4 heroes here. This does not seem like a good spot for him to be in. He's not really fight ready with this Midas in hand. Not exactly tanky on the Razor. But for now, Big God going to be repelled back. The tier 2 tower does go down, taken by the Dire, and Darkseer trades his life for the Vengeful Spirit. Looked like it could have gone worse for GoDz with Razor very aggressively positioned. They were trying to fight around the time that the Sand King respawned, but didn't find the kills they were looking for. For Big God, they'll just back off and work on their next couple of items. The Venge is doing really nicely after getting a few kills, and the solo kills included. Ice is almost level 11 already. That's a decent net worth. Similarly, the Skywrath Mage of L. He's got himself a 4-star Arcane Boot, so L going to be pretty pleased with his current farm. The level's not quite on par with the Vengeful Spirit, but he's getting a lot done in these fights. 4, 0, and 6 on your Skywrath Mage, and that's against a Pugna. One of the least fun heroes to verse as a Skywrath Mage is that Pugna. He's been on point as far as using his spells, and well, once again, he'll do it. Went in for the Blink Lasso, but the immediate Ancient Seal caught out the Batrider before he could lasso. Really fast fingers coming out from Dabe. And well, Batrider now going to make his way down towards the bottom lane. Lasso's still up. He'd like to probably finish a 4-star before Big God go looking for more pick-off so to keep on fighting. WWK's got his team of mech now as well, so at least they've made up for the fact that this Pugna has a mech advantage, but the BKB complete. The move down this bottom lane, and well, we'll see how things progress from here. As far as the two teams go, it is a slight edge going Big God's way. 2,000 net worth, though. Experience very even now. Burning's about to pick up his big item, though. The Skadi, 100 gold away. So we'll see what the Big God plan is going to be. Possibly look to 5-man with the Skadi after they get an Aegis. If they get a Roshan, Aegis plus Skadi is definitely a kind of scary duo to have. Not to mention Lamb going to have a Blink Dagger for himself. ROTK with Blink and 4-star. And Roshan is achievable with the Venge, Waver, Terror, the Medallion, but they also are always scared of this big team fight, this wombo combo. Sand King, Darkseer, Naga Siren Song to set things up as well. Should be needed. The Lion's now picked up that Blink Dagger and can be healing up, ready to go with another Finger of Death. For Big God, they need to get that fast pick off before the big ultis start coming in. If they can get someone with a quick lasso finger turn the fight into a 4v5, and then you're fighting, well, you're fighting 5v4, but you're still versing these big ultimates, which can quickly do a lot of damage in a big area. So tier 1 bottom tower being traded for the tier 2 mid, it seems. And that's the last outer tower for GoDz. This will be a tier 1 taken, and there we go. Pugna gets the mid tier 2. So Zhao Wei, very farmed in this Pugna, but Medusa even more farmed. That's Burning. True to his name, getting a lot of farm up right now. 119 CS, 109 to the Pugna, and then you got the Radiant Razor as well as Darkseer lingering behind. Still close though. By no means have Big God pulled away to such a point that GoDz feel like they're out of it. And we're going to see Roshan attempt to be claimed here, I feel like. They're setting up Sentry Ward around to make sure that there's no real crippling vision that can ruin their chances of a Roshan take here. And Ancient stacked, so maybe going to farm this up first as Batrider going to swoop on in. This is kind of the time you want to buy a gem. Okay. I saw the courier flying out the bat. I'm like, I wonder if this is a gem. He's going to look to Firefly around maybe and try see if he can find any wards. Checks it with the Napalm, and there's a ward down near this bottom river here, but for now the Radiant Vision more around the top half of the map. The Radiant Ancients, the Dire Jungle. Back has used the Firefly and actually looking just to farm out this bottom lane to some extent. As for now, Medusa seems to be swinging towards the Roshan pit. May look to bring down some Ancients first, or just go straight for Rosh. Regen Rune is there, and they've got good vision of this mid lane. They see KYXY, they saw the L Skywrath Mage as well, and looks like Roshan is ripe for the taking. Here comes GoDz though. They seem well aware of this one. Radiant Ward is giving them some vision here, and we'll see Medusa pick up the Regen Rune, bottle it up, and fall back maybe to the Ancient. So no Roshan attempted just yet. But GoDz realizing if they have to fall back to defend their side lanes, then quickly they will see themselves in a position where they cannot get to Roshan in time to contest it. So we have to see how much emphasis they put on that Roshan. And has been a bit of damage already dealt to it. Naga Illusion going to scout and see just how much. And Big God going to go for a smoke. Can't really smoke into Roshan itself with the illusion here for now, although it will go soon, but it looks like they want to take a fight anyways. They have got some vision into this jungle, and looks like they're going to find Walt 2. So Blink and Impale, they get WWK. They also want Dave, who does get hexed up. The Finger of Death is available. Zap. Lamb fingers the Skywrath Mage, and with that, should be looking at a Roshan. The gem going to deward around the pit as well, denying GoDz of, well, much needed vision, should they want to try and make a play at Roshan. And yeah, they're backing off, they're headed top, get what farm they can. KW actually does have a BKB, which is a nice little pickup. Johnny working at BKB himself, but they ran the Sanking as a farm. I still kind of just feel like you could get maybe not quite this same level of farm from a Sanking if it was in the jungle as a 4 position hero, but you would still have a Blink and maybe half of the 4-star. I'm just trying to think what you would get out of the Sanking playing him as a safe lane farmer versus playing him in that 4 position. You got a faster Blink Dagger in general, like he had an 8-minute Blink, which jungle Sanking can do if he's exclusively jungling, but generally you want to help the lane somewhat as a support. But for the most part, it just feels like Johnny Sanking has been decent, but not really enough to justify being played in the safe lane farming role. And that's with him being 5-1 and 5. It's mostly that Big God to be annoying. They're like, hey, he's a Sanking free farming? That's okay for us. They're wasting a lane on him. For Big God, it was like, well, we got a Medusa free farming the mid lane, we got a Pugna free farming the safe lane, and he's building items which will negate all of Sanking's damage. This BKB could mean bye-bye epicenter damage. Down the bot lane we go. Big God with the Aegis on Medusa, not turning this into any kind of crazy aggression just yet. It's GoDz going to 4-star forward, the Blink stun onto Lamb, and oh, it's going to be just a retreat coming out. Too close to the tower, TPs are forced though. Burning actually staying around the bottom lane though, but it's a big rotation from the GoDz side, not really finding too much out of it as well. For Big God, right now, they're just farming all over the map. GoDz is spending a lot of time grouped up, and they kind of have to do so. The ROTK Batrider looking for pickoffs constantly if anyone ever is split away from the team, but as a result, Big God farming the enemy jungle, farming their own side of the map, farming the Ancients, or stacking the Ancients here, as Lamb's going to get a Yule Scepter coming his way fairly soon. About 1,300 gold, and he'll have that one. All 3 of these Dire Core heroes looking like they pose a pretty decent threat as far as the core heroes go. The Batrider not looking like he's going to be dishing out damage, but his pick-off potential and his ability to scale to the late game, it's kind of that Doombringer effect where it's like a guaranteed kill when you get that Blink Lasso full stuff out in the late game. Similarly, like when you doom that one hero with an Aghanim Scepter late game, bang, you've got one hero out taken out of the game. And if Batrider can accomplish something similar, then you're in a good position. Does need the extra bit of damage from like a Lion Finger, either that or a lot of focus fire coming out from like the Medusa, the Pugna Blast, and all that. Lion does hit level 11. This is actually a nice kind of upgrade to the Finger of Death. Bit of extra damage, but more importantly, the 1 minute reduction on that cooldown. So for Big God, 14 kills apiece, but out-farming their opponents. Up 6,000 net worth here in Game 1. Big God, they're 5-5 in the Dota 2 Asia Championships, looking for a much-needed win, it feels like. They need to win this series 2-0, I feel like, to put themselves in a good position on the tables. A draw will not suffice. A loss gives them, well, 7 losses total. When you play, what, 30 games total? You play 15 other teams, 2 games? Yeah. So every team plays 30 games over 6 days. It's a brutal schedule. A lot of Dota 2 for these teams. But you've got to be on your A game. You can't slip up. And so far, for Big God, a 5-5 record is kind of meh. 50-50 will not cut it when only 6 of these 16 teams are going to China. 4 to the main event, 5th and 6th into those wildcard matches. Down the bottom lane we go. Burning's next item of choice is going to be Mjolnir, so he says, we need some more damage? Well, I can fix that. I like this item choice because he's so gosh damn tanky with this Skadi mana shield that he's going to get a lot of Mjolnir procs off if they do any damage to him, and they're kind of forced to do damage to him. You've got Epicenter, you've got the AoE of like the Plasma Field, you put him in an Iron Shell, you've got the Darkseid Wall of Replica. There's a lot of damage being dished out. Lean going to be going for the Crimson Guard as he picks up a Vanguard for the team. I almost feel like he could have transitioned this game into a carry of some kind. And go for that kind of 35 minute Radiance, but he is the true hard support. Oh no, actually the Skyrith is hard support. Naga's actually getting some farm now with the Earn Treads wand, but here we go. High ground being sieged. Aegis still has a bit of a duration left on, about 30 seconds left, and Burning just going to put himself on the high ground with that Mjolnir. You don't really want to go in him and do too much damage. The problem is the Pug is going to keep on spamming that blast, so at some point you kind of need to go in. Zhao Wei going to keep on coming up, blasting time and time again. Not being healed up, the lingering creep wave from before, preventing that backdoor protection. Zhao Wei just going to come in again. 277, bit by bit. They can glyph, but glyphing for one Pugna Blast just doesn't seem like it's that worthwhile. We'll see the Nether Ward get expired here. They were actually maybe looking to go on it here, but the Aegis gonna oh, they tried to go in as the Aegis expires. They catch just Burning. They need more. They need the backlines. The backlines is positioned nice far away. Here comes the vision. Burning on the front lines with Mjolnir. This is not the fight G-Guard were wanting, I don't think. Epicenter, Blink, Burrow Strike. The wall is there. The AoE wombo combo only kills the Vengeful Spirit. They've lost Sand King. Naga, KYXY no longer has the BKB, and Burning is just standing, fighting, holding his ground. Brings down a siege creep of all things in the middle of the fight. KYXY will go down in the end, and all they lost with Avenge. And that just works in their favor. It means less damage for your Razor, less damage for everyone as far as right clicks go, although everything for G-Guard comes down to the initial, like, the AoE. The Sand King, Epicenter, Burrow Strike with the Darkseid Wall Vacuum has to be perfect, and it was decent. The problem was, it was only really Burning they could catch out. He was on the front lines. He was the one they went on. The Song of the Siren only caught him. They timed it with the Aegis expiring, but the rest of Big God had already backed off. They either saw it coming or just their positioning was too fine-tuned, and bottom lane of Rax gone. And big fight going the way of the gods. The big gods, that is. And, well, Burning on his Medusa now with another 2.4k gold. He's like, okay, I got room for my bottle again. I lose my Aegis. Great. There's a nice little bounty room waiting for him at the bottom lane that he can snag. As for G-Guard, that puts him down a lane of Rax, and not with a really good late game plan here. They have got the Midas on KYXY. That's been helping him keep up on farm, but he's still well behind the Medusa, behind the Pugna, and only just on par with the Batrider. Darkseid, similar thing, has gone for this Midas to try help him get to this late game stage, but end of the day, where's the damage coming from? It feels like they're only doing damage through their nukes, through their spells. The BKBs is the answer. ROTK now has one himself on his Batrider. Medusa doesn't really need one. One hero can probably get away without. And he's going to be farming up some ancient stacks over here. Could just wait for the next Roshan and then look to go for another high ground push. Probably going to be the approach for Big God. They can keep these lanes pushed out and actually will go for a BKB. Generally not an item you see on Medusa, but considering that everything G-Guard throws at Big God is magic teamfight damage related, the only thing that isn't is the Razor. And he's not exactly that big of a carry threat just yet. We'll have the Ag Scepter soon, but even with an Ag's BKB, he's going to need still a lot of damage in a fight. We'll be looking for Burning as the main target for that static link, but just doesn't feel like G-Guard are going to have the damage in a late game scenario. You need maybe even like a Veil or something, but then again, it's not going to work. It's not going to help or work against the BKBs. If they get these BKBs off at the right time, Veil is a waste of 2.7k gold. Down the mid lane we go. They say we don't need no Aegis, so we'll do it just with our BKBs. It is a fast Roshan respawn, 30 seconds roughly after the minimum time. But the siege will continue here at the middle lane. RTK's job, try and find a pick off on someone. And Song of the Sun will make it difficult. The thing is, you lasso someone, you try and Song to counter initiate. If Big God use their BKBs, they can still kill whoever it is that they get the lasso on. And Dark's here in the front lines. There's your wall vacuum. The BKB is going to dodge the Burrow Strike. 2 BKBs went off. Here comes your Batrider looking for a lasso. Won't get it. The Pugna Ward is going to, well, deter any kind of a chase here. Burning. They almost went like too overly cautious there. They used all their BKBs. They dodged most of the AoE. Problem is now they're going to set for maybe a nice Burrow Strike. Their BKBs are on cooldown. Batrider's still going to lasso. Here comes your FB send a Burrow Strike through. Johnny just not doing enough damage. He gets brought down. Burning on the front line is just doing too much right now. Is starting to get low though. Has got no mana left, or at least not much mana left. Sankin going to buy back. Burrow Strikes through. Catches 3 again. These 3-4 hero Burrow Strikes are impressive, but they're just not winning the fight. Burning still pretty healthy here, and the Impale onto the Razor is going to be the end of it. GG is called by Johnny. KYXY getting sucked off by Zhao 8, and that's going to get Zhao 8 back to full HP. KYXY is going to drop. It's all over in game 1. Big God take out G-Guard and put themselves in a better position on the standings with a 6-5 record here in the Asia qualifiers for the Dota 2 Asia Championship. We're going to see if they can do a similar thing in game 2. So stick around. I'm GoDz from Beyond the Summit. You can follow me at BTS GoDz. Don't go anywhere, because game 2 of G-Guard versus Big God is coming up after this. Hello everybody, quick announcement. This stream is going down. It's going to come right back up because Europe action will be going down with Na'Vi taking on the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. That's going to be the game cast by LD right here on Beyond the Summit. I'll be streaming eHome versus CDEC over on twitch.tv/GoDz on my channel, because we're running out of Beyond the Summit channels. But I'll be over on my channel on twitch.tv/GoDz, so head on over to there if you want to watch eHome versus CDEC. Game 2 of GoDz versus Big God is still being played. You can check that game out in Dota TV. Because there was the 1.5 hour delay, it's going to overlap with CDEC versus eHome, and CDEC versus eHome is the first and second place team versing each other. So we're going to be following that series because it's much more, well, it's currently more important with the two top placing teams battling it out. So number 1 versus number 2. If you want to check out Big God versus GoDz, check out Dota TV at the moment. I'll see if I can find someone to stream that game, but not entirely sure there will be, since there's a lot of games going on. There's 5 games at once with 4 Asia games and the Europe match happening. So head on over to twitch.tv/GoDz if you want to watch that game. If you want to watch Power Rangers vs Na'Vi, you're in the right place. Stay here. The stream will go down and it'll be hopefully up after about 30 seconds to a minute with LD casting that series. So lobby starting to fill up. CDEC and eHome should hopefully be in here soon, and that's going to be our series on this channel here. So stay tuned.